Okay, so get this.
Okay.
Imagine crushing your debt, like completely getting rid of it,
Yeah.
boosting your income, and still having all the fun stuff.
Like what kind of fun stuff?
Vacations, concerts, nights out, you know.
The whole shebang.
Yeah, the whole shebang. It sounds kind of too good to be true, right?
It does sound a little like a dream.
But there's this financial coach
Hey, wait.
that we're going to be looking at today.
Right.
And they claim to have done exactly this.
Really?
And helped tons of other people do it too.
I'm always interested in people who actually walk the walk,
Yeah.
not just talk the talk.
So that's why we're doing this deep dive today.
All right, ready?
It's this podcast episode with this financial coach.
Okay.
And get this, they helped one person
Mm-hmm.
pay off $36,000 in debt
Whoa.
and make an extra $20,000
Okay.
in just 18 months
Right, hold up.
while still having fun.
So wait, they're telling me you can have your cake and eat it too.
That's the big question here, right?
Yeah. Right, because usually financial advice is like, cut back on everything live like a monk, and maybe in like 30 years you can retire.
Yeah, exactly.
This sounds totally different.
And that's why this is so fascinating to me.
Yeah, okay, I'm hooked.
In the episode description, this coach mentions helping people with like all sorts of things, like saving money and paying off debt.
Basics.
Yeah. But it's how they manage to also enjoy life at the same time.
That's what I want to know.
That's the mystery.
It's one thing to know you should be saving,
Right.
but doing it and still, enjoying life.
Yeah,
That's the hard part.
totally. So let's dig into this financial coach's story.
Okay, let's do it.
How did they do it themselves? Like what strategies did they use?
And did they really have fun while doing it?
Exactly.
I'm ready to take notes. This could be huge.
I think so too.
If this coach figured out how to make this whole financial thing,
Yeah.
less of a drag.
Yeah.
I'm all ears.
Fancy.
All right, let's go. All right, so $36,000 in debt. It's a lot.
That's a big number.
Yeah, like if I saw that number, I think I just want to like crawl in a hole and never come out.
Right, like where do you even begin?
But they paid it off in just 18 months.
Yeah. You said they were still traveling and everything?
I'm still having fun going to concerts.
Okay, so spill the beans. How'd they do it?
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
They use this thing called the avalanche method.
Avalanche method.
So basically, they focused on the debts with the highest interest rates first.
Okay, I've heard of the snowball method where you pay off the smallest debts first.
Yeah, that's what most people do.
So like the motivation boost.
But for the quick wins.
Yeah.
But this coach is like, nope, we're going for the big guns first.
Interesting. So why go for the scary ones first?
It's like they said, you got to stop the bleeding before you can bandage the wound.
Okay, that makes sense.
Those high interest debts, they just keep growing and growing.
Yeah, they eat away at your money.
Exactly.
Mm.
So by tackling those first, you free up so much more money in the long run to spend on fun things.
Exactly. Less money wasted on interest equals more fun money.
I like how this coach thinks.
Right. It's not about deprivation. It's about strategy.
So what about saving? Do they have any special tips for that?
Oh, yeah. They have this whole thing they call reverse budgeting.
Reverse budgeting. What in the world is that?
I know, right? It sounds kind of crazy, but it's actually pretty cool.
Okay, I'm listening.
So instead of making a budget at the beginning of the month and then trying to like squeeze everything in,
Yeah, the usual way.
you focus on your savings goal first.
Okay.
You automate those transfers to your savings account right when you get paid.
So like pay yourself first.
Exactly. And then whatever is left over is what you have to work with.
Oh, so you're not stressing about sticking to a strict budget every single day.
Yeah, it takes the pressure off.
And you're already saving.
Exactly.
This is making more and more sense.
Right. It's like this whole new way of thinking about money.
So what about getting that first job? Any tips on that?
Okay, so for that, they have this thing they call the skills audit.
Skills audit, huh?
Yeah, so instead of just looking at like your past job titles,
Okay.
they want you to think about all the skills you have, even from like hobbies or volunteer work.
So even if you haven't had a real job,
Yeah.
you still have skills to offer.
Exactly. And then you tailor your resume and cover letter to each specific job description.
So you're not just sending out a generic resume to everyone?
Nope, you're really highlighting what you can do for that specific employer.
Okay, that's smart.
And it's especially helpful for people who might not have a ton of work experience.
Yeah, it's all about showing your value.
Okay, so let's talk about negotiating raises.
Oh, yeah. Everyone wants to know about that.
Right, so this coach has this really cool approach.
I'm all ears.
They call it the value proposition pitch.
Okay, so what's that?
It's like instead of just listing your accomplishments,
Yeah.
you connect your work to how it's helped the company.
So, like, how have you saved them money or made them more efficient?
Exactly. You're basically showing them why you're worth the investment.
That makes a lot of sense.
And they say to, like, practice this pitch beforehand so you feel really confident.
Yeah, because those conversations can be nerve-wracking.
Right. And they even suggest, like, role-playing with a friend.
Okay, so you're not caught off guard.
Okay, so now let's talk about investing in retirement.
Ooh, yeah, that could be scary stuff.
I know, especially when you're younger and you're like, oh, I have plenty of time for that later.
Yeah, you don't want to think about it.
But this coach is like, nope, you got to start early.
Okay, so what do they recommend?
Even if you can only invest a little bit at first,
Okay,
the key is to just make it a habit.
so automate it.
Exactly. Set up automatic transfers from your checking to like a Roth IRA or a low-cost index fund.
I've heard those are good for beginners.
Yeah, and it takes the guesswork out of it.
So what about this whole increase your net worth thing? What's that all about?
Okay, so the coach basically boils it down to three things.
Good.
Number one, spend less than you earn. Number two, build an emergency fund.
For a rainy day.
Exactly. And number three, pay down that high-interest debt aggressively.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, and once you've got those things under control, you can start focusing on saving and investing.
For the long term?
Exactly. It's all about building a strong foundation.
Okay, so all of this makes sense, but how do you still have fun?
Right.
Like vacations and concerts, they cost money.
They do, but remember, this coach's whole philosophy is about conscious spending.
So you're not saying no to everything.
Exactly. It's about making choices.
So maybe instead of eating out all the time, you cook at home a few nights a week.
And then you use that money to go on a trip.
So you're still enjoying life.
Exactly. It's all about finding that balance that works for you.
I love that.
Me too.
So you're achieving your goals, but you're not missing out.
Exactly. It's about being intentional and making your money work for you.
This has been eye-opening.
Seriously, this coach's approach is like a breath of fresh air.
It's not about deprivation. It's about empowerment.
And making choices that align with what's important to you.
So what's the one big takeaway our listeners should remember?
It's like financial freedom doesn't have to mean giving up all the good stuff.
Yeah, it's not about saying no to everything fun.
It's more about being thoughtful with your money, you know?
Making choices that actually fit with your values.
Right, so you can create a life you actually enjoy.
And it really starts with changing how you think about money.
Yeah, instead of seeing financial goals as like these scary, restrictive things,
Yeah.
they can actually be empowering.
Like a way to build the future you really want.
And you don't have to figure it all out on your own either.
Right, there's so much help out there.
Like financial coaches or online courses.
Even podcasts like this
The
one.
most important thing is to just start somewhere.
Yeah, even if it's a tiny step.
Like even just making a budget.
Or setting up automatic savings.
Those small things can really add up over time.
So to wrap this whole thing up.
We want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay, I like that.
Imagine for a second that money was no object.
Okay.
What's the one thing you'd do? Like, what's that big dream you have?
That's a good one.
Now think about one small thing you can do today to start making that happen.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Maybe it's looking into investment options or talking about finances with your partner.
Yeah, just that first step.
Because financial freedom, it's a journey.
It's not a sprint.
And every step you take gets you closer to that life you want.
So what are you waiting for? Go out there and make it happen.
That's what I'm talking about.